everyone. Welcome back to JP's Budget Collecting and our weekly Cash or Trash, where we look at the hot comics of this week and we make predictions sure to go wrong because, yeah, if I knew what I was talking about, I would be a lot richer. So, that's what we're doing here. We had a bunch of people in here tailgating. John has been on a roll. He beat GT Key and Unruly again. What the heck is happening out there? He must just be bored. That's what I'm going with. Is he's just bored right now. He doesn't have enough going on. So we need to work on that, John. Really, what is happening, my friend? Yes, the Superman party hour is Sean. Superman party hours. That doesn't really roll off the tongue. The Man Show, maybe a little more so. Chuhiba's telling me that Werewolf by Night was awesome. I still haven't watched that yet. We'll see if we can get it there. Brought to you by Sid and Martin Croft. There you go. Let's see. John Big Daddy Ross. What is happening? Hello. Dre is in the house. Top of the morning to you. Ian is here. Hey, Ian. Sam, I am. What is good? What is happening? Deep House is in the house. Hello. Stephen S. Let's get some more money wasters. There you go. So, John is also, the other John is also here. So, yeah, multiple John. We got like 3 Johns in here. So, all right. So again, for those that may be new to the channel, because occasionally still people find my channel, what we're doing here is on Saturdays, I put out a video that looks back at the hot comics from 6 months ago, from the CBSI Hot Top 10 and the Comic Town Key Collector Hottest Trending Comics of the Week, and see how they did over the 6 months, and if they were good investments or if you should have been patient or whatever. This show is where I take this week's hot books and I make predictions for what I'm going to say in 6 months. And sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, but we have fun with it. And we don't worry about too much. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but occasionally you'll get a rant. Yeah, and that's really what it's about. So how do I make these predictions? I throw them into categories. We got our straight cash, homie. Books I think are going to continue to go up in value. You don't get many of these. 1 to 2 a week, maybe some weeks none, especially here lately because the market as a whole is just down and suppressed this year compared to where it's been. So yeah, we'll get a few. We might get a straight cash, but we also might just talk about a book that maybe is not straight cash for the next few months, but longer term is. We got our worth it books that are valued about right, in my opinion, that are gonna, stay around this value, probably gain a little bit. You're okay if you buy in now. You're gonna do okay. We got our I'll Be Backs, books that are kind of the opposite side of that worth a coin. They're still priced about right, but if you're patient, you can find a deal. There's no reason to rush out and try to buy it right now. Just come back, wait, see if you can get a deal. We got our It's a Trap. These are books that are going to drop 30, 40, 50%, and they do every week. We have multiples of these that just are overvalued because of news or hype or whatever. We have our traps. We have our dumpster fires, which are books that are going to drop 60, 70, 80%, and we have 1 to 2 of these every week, more consistently than we have street cash books, to be honest, that are just way, way overpriced and are at price values that are just can't be supported. Occasionally I'll throw in a come on man because I don't even know what we're thinking, why we're even talking about this book or chasing it, or why we would chase it. And then of course we got our sure, fine. But it's Tom occasionally likes to put books on the list that are selling a lot but are going for like $5. So yeah, whatever. So with that, we will get to this week's books. Let's see who else has dropped in here. Bodega Cats, what's going on? Welcome. What up? That anyway actually looks great. To be honest, I was tempted to move it recently to afford something else, but I didn't. I was tempted though. There was a Sensation Comics that might have bought me. That it was tempting, and then I would have to come back for the MIX. I probably should have, honestly. Probably should have, but I didn't. So, Black Swamp, what is going on? So, all right. Did I miss Los? Did I miss Los come in? I don't see Los. So, anyway, let's get to this week's list, this week's books. All right. first book. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one. ISOM #1. I didn't know what the heck this was. I did about this much digging, realized I didn't care to do any more digging, and walked away. So basically what's going on here is there's some very controversial writer for his political views. I'm not going to debate his political views. I'm not interested. And basically there is a target audience that loves his political views, so they're supporting this book. No idea if this book is any good. We're all going for 175 to 200. Is this kind of a personal published kind of thing? He's trying to write his own universe. Anyway, what do I think about this in terms of a value thing, despite the politics involved? Is that rarely do these political books that become a big deal just because of the politics sustain. There has to be some, unless there's like a message, but this isn't that. The politics here is about the writer, not about the book. So rarely do those things sustain. I doubt this holds this kind of value. I would put this as, I kind of think it's a trap. Generally, these politics books don't go very well. It might be an I'll be back, but 175, 200, when it was like $50 buy-in or whatever this thing was, I think this is a trap. And that has nothing to do with this particular writer's politics. It's just the nature of these kind of thing. So I know I didn't really want to get into him, but yeah, the guy is, yeah. So we're going to move on. And because I don't really care to give him any more spotlight. So with that, we're going to talk about Spawn #1. This hit the list because it's going to happen. Todd McFarlane had a big announcement. Then he had to postpone it 24 hours. Then he finally made the announcement that we finally have a director attached to the Jamie Foxx Spawn movie that we've known about for about a decade. And yeah, I'm thoroughly in the believe it when I see it on this one. 9.8 jumped a little bit, 225 plus this week for direct copies. There's a billion of these out there, and really it sets about 175 typically long term on this, so it's not up that much. I still put this as an I'll be back because I don't trust McFarlane to like let somebody else actually do this. Like I don't this book is not rare. It's exactly the same value it has for forever. Maybe a newsstand, yeah. This is where I'm at. I just don't believe McFarlane could get out of his own way on this. Start buying and destroying them. Oh, John lives on that island, but that's okay. I don't know. Neither one of them mean a whole lot to me, but yeah, it is an iconic book. There's also a billion of them, like literally. Yeah, if you're gonna go after, go for the newsstand. But I'll believe it when I see it. To me, this is an I'll be back. I don't think it's gonna jump enough that it's. I mean, I don't think it's like gonna be. It's not crazy overpriced compared to what it sits at long term, but it also isn't. I don't think it's going to sustain that. Just because I have a director doesn't mean the movie's coming anytime soon. Next, we got a little We Live. So the Miranda brothers put an Instagram or Twitter post where they put the Netflix in underneath them and said, well, I don't know how long we could sit on this news. And it's like, great. So it's coming to Netflix. Raw copies on this are up to $25, which is actually still down from where it peaked a year or so ago. 9.8 sitting around $90, so $90 to $100. I feel like this is not actually that much up compared to what it had been. I think this has been sitting about a $20 book anyway, with 9.8s in that $60 to $80, $90 range. I'm going to call this one, despite the fact that I don't necessarily trust Netflix or trust that this is happening anytime soon, I do feel like this book itself carries about this value. So this is probably worth it. You could argue it should be an I'll be back. I don't think it's way overpriced at the moment. So I don't That's why I kind of say it's worth it. But we'll probably look at it and come back. I'll be back. But my prediction officially was worth it on this one. And this is the other thing. I don't really trust Netflix. Yeah. Do we trust Netflix? Maybe I should. You know what? I think you guys are right. I feel like this is not that far off from where it goes, and people love this book, but Netflix is such a crap show on this nowadays. Like, you never, even if they make a good, either the shows suck or they make a good one and then they just cancel it. So, all right, you guys have talked me into it. I changed it. Changing the official prediction to you guys talking me into, and I'll be back. But it's not going to be much. I mean, it's still like like I said, it sits at about a $20 average book anyway, but you'll probably find a $15, $20 one if you're patient. So the 1 to 15 is definitely the better book. If it did, that would be awesome. But do we trust Netflix to do that? If they do, then yeah, this is going to be way up. But in the meantime, that's going to be a while. So this is We Live has definitely got a lot going for it for sure. Next is yeah, there you go. Shop, what's going on? All right, next we got our one sort of comic buzz, sort of cover book. We put it at the front of our covers this week. This is Dark Ride #1, the Tom Whalen, one per store retailer. Thank you. This was on our only book on both lists this week, so we got 19 books to talk about. This was funny because this is kind of a take on Disney. It's like a horror ride. Is what the story's about. I don't like. That's just me pulling it away. So like a theme park horror that's actually like, terrible things are happening at. This was funny because I looked it up, or CBSI put it as 80 to 90 plus is what it was going for. I was like, whoa. Then Tom had it on their list, and they were talking about average sales of $35 with a high around 70. And I was like, whoa, those values do not match. So I tried to look it up, and they're both wrong. They're both very wrong. Values for this thing are all over the board. 25. Actually, there was a 20, but if you count in shipping, 25 to 125 on this sucker. And literally like a 125 next to one listed as near mint. Pictures look near mint that went for 25. And then there's 60, there's 50, there's 80. The sales on this thing are all over the board. It is crazy. There you go. Just like this. The prices are all over the board on this thing. Vaguely intriguing. That's not a hot take. The Little Mermaid cover, I think people talked about this. CBSI talked about that the Little Mermaid cover would be the one they would actually be after. There you go. It is kind of, I do like this cover though. I do like this cover. So yeah. Well, I think this is just a Disney homage cover. It's actually like a horror comic. So this is Joshua Williams' Devil Land book. Sort of, yeah. I don't know. I haven't read it, so I can't say that. That's just the impression I got. That's the impression I got. I have not read this book. So what do we make of this? 125, 25 to 125, mostly set in the 50, 60, 70-ish dollar range, but sales on both sides of that. It's a little all over the place. I put this as an I'll be back. And I really think, well, you could argue if you paid the 125, it's probably a trap. I think it's going to settle in the lower half of this larger range that we're looking at, more of the 25 to 70-ish side of things than the 70s to 125. So that's why I'm putting it as an I'll be back. But yeah, this is interesting that it's so all over the place. You don't see ones this wide range very often. Number one, he's saying it was pretty good, has potential. Williamson has a pretty good reputation, so I think it probably does. And if it has potential, then maybe I'm wrong and it settles on the upper end and it's more of a worth it. But yeah, I'm sure there are. There's Los. What is up, man? All right. Next, we got The Boys, number 3. So we're into our NYCC exclusive variants. This is the Ariel Diaz NYCC Virgin, limited to 250. This is a reprint of The Boys number 3. So reprint of an older book that came out this week. Only 250 of these, which helps it, but it's going 80 to 90 out the gate, and I still put this as an I'll be back. Rarely, there's a ton of different printings and covers of this book, of this number 3. I don't see this really moving the needle long term. I get Boys is a popular thing right now, but yeah, to me, generally speaking, all con exclusives, like there's about 1 per con, maybe 2 at some of the bigger cons that take off. All the rest of them are traps to all be backs. It's just the way it works. And it's hard to know which one. To me, this is not the one I would take my shot at as being the one that's going to continue to go up in value. I don't think there's enough here. Yeah, the utterance formerly known as Met. We got yawn, next, trash. Werewolf by Night episode 1 is total game changer. Man, people are loving it. I'm gonna have to watch it. I think the series is also yeah. This is definitely one I'd come back. The Nanner Wolfie. All right, next. Yeah, let's get through these NYC ones. Next, we got another copy of 8 Billion Genies, an NYCC foil variant, going for 80 to 100. So this is technically a reprint. This is far enough into the game that this is a reprint of number 1. It's not just a new cover. It's a reprint. It's a foil reprint. I couldn't find a number on this. What I did find were multiple websites that were selling it. It was sold out, mind you, but also sold it in addition to whatever was sold at the con. So that tells me this is not that limited. We'll see. I think this is starting to run its course as well. I think it's only supposed to be 8 issues. We're almost to the end. I also put, and this is just a foil variant of number 1. I put this as an I'll be back also. I would not. Yeah. I think there's enough of them floating around. There was like 3 or 4 websites that were selling them. I don't think so. I found it on, just looking it up, there were like 3 or 4, and Whatnot was nothing referenced it as a Whatnot variant. If it is, I could be wrong with that. But yeah, 8 billion variants. Yeah, people are definitely going after every version, but I think this is an I'll be back. I think I'd be patient on this. Next, we got Star Wars Visions, number 1, the Takashi Okazaki New York Comic-Con limited to 800. So this is just the A cover this is a version of the A cover. This one's going for 80 to 90 also. All of these are about in the same range. So here's my thing. People love this character from the Vision thing. This is obviously his first appearance in comics. This is what I think at 80 to 90 with the first appearance and being a Star Wars book, limit 800. I think this one might actually be worth it in this group. Not predicting it to take off, but of these NYCCs, this is the one I feel is most likely to be worth it because it's the Vision thing. It has this character. Star Wars fans are crazy. Too busy to buy. Yeah, check it out. Hold. This is a nice cover. Yeah, I think this is your worth it. But I also get the sentiment because I often do this. Like if there's an exclusive that's the same as the A, I just buy the A and I'm not worried about it. But of these, I felt like I had to pick one of these NYCC variants to say worth it. This is the one I picked. We'll see. I could be totally wrong. Hey, Reverse Amoeba. What's going on? I'm not predicting that, Perry. Well, I'm glad we can agree on something. Unruly is now yawning. I think technically it comes out this coming week, but I'm not 100% sure on that because I didn't. Oh, you know what? I didn't order one, so maybe it came out last week. I don't know, because I didn't order one. I didn't order a Visions #1. I don't believe. So it was not one I grabbed. Next, we got the Superman 75 red foil NYCC variant. So this is a reprint of number 75 with a red foil cover, going for 80 plus. So we are reprinting one of the most printed books in the history of comics, overprinted books in the history of comics. But we had to do a reprint. It's cool. It's a red foil. It's going for 80 plus. I don't think it holds there. I think it's an I'll be back. There's a little bit of nostalgia right now because of the 30th anniversary and all of that kind of stuff, which I think is driving this. But longer term, I don't think people are really going to focus on this or stay with it. So there you go. Visions is that Wednesday. I thought it was this coming week, but I don't think I ordered one. I don't know. Biggest con from the 90s. Yeah. A lot of man on this one. That's where I'm at. I mean, I think it's a cool cover. If I stumbled across one for like $10, I'd be like, sweet, but I ain't paying 80 for it. So there you go. 2 more covers from it. New York Comic Con. We got our Tyler Kirkham Battle Damage cover that he does everything limited to 1,000. Batman 126, $120 to $140. This is the big seller so far. This thing is $120 to $140. But what I can tell you is those initial Whatnot ones held value pretty well, but even they started backing up a little bit, became I'll be backs. The Punisher one did not hold value that they did. It became an I'll be back. Actually, at 120 to 140 for Batman 126, I actually think this is a trap. People love these things, but once he's done every character known to man in one of these, do we really think these are going to be worth that much? When it's like the 10th one? This is like the 10th one. This is not the first. It's not the second one he's done like this. It's like the 10th one. I think this is a trap. This is my trap. Bat damage, yeah. Yeah. Matrix, what is going on? Foil shiny. There you go. This is how I feel about him. That will never happen. Unfortunately. Fortunately and unfortunately. I don't want him to go away, but I would like there to be like 4 Bat books a month with him at the most. Like Tech and Batman, and then if you want to have 2 like Elseworlds kind of things going on, fine, whatever. And then stop. Just stop. At that point, you can tell Batgirl stories and other stuff, but stop. He does not need 15 books a month. Yeah. The Battle Beast. The Battle Beast one is cool, but again, he just has done all of them the same. Hey, Scotch. So this is my trap. And then last but not least of our NYCC covers, maybe least, I don't know. Batman 128, the Thiago de Silva, limited to 800, current cap. Here's my problem with this one. It's a good Catwoman cover. It's not a great one. It's a con exclusive, limited to 800. Okay, 70 to 80. Does anyone think this is better than most of the Sozumaki ones that have come out in the last year? Is it better than any of the Frisian runs he was doing? Heck, is it even better than a chunk of the DeCall regular A covers for Catwoman? There's been so many real fantastic Catwoman covers come out in the last year, both on her own book. This one does nothing for me. I think this is also a trap. These last 2 I both put as traps, which is funny. I put the Batman books, which is, the characters I love, as traps because there's nothing here to me that screams this is a cover that I need to have. It's meh. It's not like there's so many better ones. They use Batman complaint. They do definitely. I do think that's the case, and I get maybe there's a key or something here, but I don't know. To me, this is not that great a Catwoman cover. Yes, there you go. All right, next we're moving out of the NYCC covers to this one makes no sense for me. El Muerto. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, number 6. So we got this news a while back that Sony was going to make a movie around El Muerto, who's appeared like twice or something, and that Bad Bunny was going to play him, and so this thing is jumped back up. At that point, it got to basically right at $200 for 9.8. Raw copies were 20, 30. Well, now it's jumped back up again. Raw copies are at 30. 9.8 of 375 for El Muerto. Okay, first of all, how long do we think it'll take Sony to come out with this movie? How long have we been supposed to get? Well, how long did it take to get Morbius? How long have we been supposed to get this Craven movie or Madam Web? Or, I mean, at this point, Sony's making these suckers so they can hold the rights to Spider-Man. That's it. They have to make one every so often to hold the rights. This is... First of all, and I feel like I could say this about Bad Bunny, but maybe I'm just out of touch, but it doesn't matter who this person is. There is no way in the world that I would pay almost $400 for 9.8 of his first appearance. Come on. I don't think it's going to drop enough to be a dumpster fire, just like percentage-wise, the way I put it, it's definitely a trap. There's no way I would invest in this book. And maybe I'm completely wrong. Yeah. Worst book ever. Dumbest store. I mean, maybe the character's fine. He has no standing to be paying these kind of values for this book. Like, for this character, it just makes no sense. Think about the next character, just the next one, what his 9.8 is going for. This one's going for 375. This, and I realize people want the 3-claw cover. First appearance of Dagon, who, again, is kind of a side character, Wolverine's son. He doesn't appear a ton. He hasn't been used a ton, but way more than El Muerto. And it goes for 300 in 9.8 right now when it's hot. Now, raw copies go for a little more, 50 on this one. But yeah, Wolverine's Origins 10. And this has everything to do with people speccing that the choice to bring Hugh back for Deadpool 3 means that they're not going to recast Wolverine, that they're going to move on to Laura and Dagon. They're going to move on to his son and his daughter, are more likely to be appearing in the MCU going forward than Wolverine himself. I would be surprised by that, especially with all the multiverse stuff and that Deadpool. I would be surprised, but maybe that's what they do. I still think this is an I'll be back because Deadpool doesn't come out to 24. It's not coming out to 2024. And B, I don't think he's going to appear in it. And he's not going to be one of the first mutants that appears. This is an I'll be back. You have so much time and room to try to track this down for a deal. Yeah. Do it then. Still a better character than El Muerto. And a much better investment. That sentence guy figured out what five sentences back down. Yeah. Let's see. That I can believe that. Yeah. It is. They just making them to keep the license of SpiderMan. I'm trying to say all the Wolverine. Hey, Kenneth. There you go. She's already the first. Yeah, we have mutants in the MCU. We absolutely do, but I just don't think Dakin is going to be an early one that we get. That's what I meant. I didn't mean like as in the first. I meant as in one of the the first wave. Next, we get Deadpool #1 from 1997, a book that I pretty sure I sold for like $1 or something like years and years ago. A book I know I had when I lived in Virginia and did not make the move back to Missouri with me. So it was one of the ones I just dumped. So I probably got nothing for this. First ongoing series. And this is really the start of where he starts with Joe Kelly writing, where he starts breaking the fourth wall and kind of has the personality that he runs with, that we know him by. Raw copies $50, 9.8, 280, because of the Deadpool announcement. And this is also still an I'll be back. for me. Yeah, because we're a long way from the actual movie. Yeah, good for you, Sam. I'm pretty sure this was part of a couple of boxes I took to the comic book store and just got rid of for like cheap. I was not very smart, but that's okay. There you go. Next, we got Red Hulk, or we got Hulk #1. First cover appearance of Red Hulk. He doesn't actually appear in the book until issue 2. But this book is back up to $70, 9.8 back up to 300, which is still well down from where it peaked with some of the She-Hulk rumors. This has been the meh list yet. Pretty meh. Gets a little better here at the end, but no, it's pretty meh. True. Mm-hmm. I think it's pretty meh. So basically what's happening here is She-Hulk made a fourth wall comment about a Red Hulk during the last episode, and which honestly made me believe that we're not getting Red Hulk during the show, that we're not getting a Red Hulk in the finale. Maybe you get something that hints at it in the post-credit scene, but I really doubt it. But there's also rumors that they're trying to get Harrison Ford to take over for William Hurt as General Thunderbolt Ross. I talked about this a little bit on my thing last night. Harrison Ford's been talking about like retiring from acting. He's 80. I don't think he really wants to do action stuff anymore, particularly. Like he said, Indiana Jones was his last action thing for sure, and maybe his last acting thing. I would be stunned if he's the one they get to do this. Do I think they'll recast? Yeah. But he's not showing up in for sure in this. I don't like not full out blown. Now Thunderbolts, I think there's a fair chance we get him in Thunderbolts. I think there's a fair chance that that's what they're dealing with. In that the whole thing they end up dealing with in Thunderbolts is because in the original Thunderbolts comic, like they're fighting the Hulk, like they're hired to fight the Hulk. I think what happens is they get pulled together, and then he does this to himself, whoever they cast as Ross, or has done this to himself, and then they're pulled in to try to stop him. I think that's really where this is going, but we'll see. She has been, but that fits pretty well. Yeah, he appeared in the most recent episode, which is episode 7, 8. I don't know how many episodes I got. Yes, he was. I thought you were behind, John, or did you just know that? But anyway, I still think this will all be back because I don't think we're seeing him this week. And if we do see him this coming week, it's definitely an I'll be back because it's definitely going to cool before we get Thunderbolts. So this book is nowhere near where it peaked out when the first rumors of him being a She-Hulk were. So even with this hot streak, and I think it's still an I'll be back. Next, ManThing #1 because he appeared in Werewolf by Night. So we got ManThing. I haven't watched it yet. Some of you had. This is his first solo. 7.0 hit 240, 9.0 hit 400. And if it's anything like any other show that Marvel has put out, any of the characters that appear, even the main ones, they come back later. All these shows, all the values of all these books related to these shows have dropped in the immediate aftermath of those shows and will continue to do something. And right now we don't have any timing for seeing any of these characters that showed up in this thing. Now we might get something between now and the 6-month thing, but for me, this is definitely an I'll be back. De Niro should be Ross. He's almost as old, if not older, but yeah, maybe. It was a really good episode. ManThing. So, all right, next, where are we at? But yeah, I think, anytime somebody appears, don't buy it during the show, buy it later. We got Armor Wars. We got Iron Man 225. This is the first part of the Armor Wars story, so the first kind of Armor Wars. These storyline books rarely hold value. These are always traps. And here's the thing. So we got the announcement that the show was going to be a movie instead. and I'm going to talk about this in the next thing. Why they did this? Why I think they potentially did this is, long term. Yeah, long term. We're talking the 6 month thing. Long term, that ManThing is definitely straight cash. Yes. Why to invest in ManThing? I didn't know. So here's the thing: storylines. No first appearance here. This is an I'll be back all day, and it's only not a trap because it's only going for $25. But the 9.8 240, I think, is a trap. So yeah, it's a trap. It's just a storyline. Those rarely hold that kind of value and sustain. It is a trap. Don't do it. Don't do it. No, because 6 months we won't be any closer to that movie, and we'll be away from news about it. Don't do it. It's not a great cover. You see me now, a victim of 1,000 armor wars. There you go. All right, next. Infamous Iron Man. So this has to do with the announcement. So people had been specking that we're going to get Tony as an AI. This is the first appearance of Tony Stark as an AI in comics. This Infamous Iron Man run. Raw copies 25, 9.890, so about $100. So this book isn't going for crazy value. It's all about the spec that we're going to get Downey Jr. again via as an AI. So you might just get his voice. Most people thought this would happen with Riri. So there's a chance this could happen Black Panther here in a month. In a month. There's a chance it could happen during Ironheart, her show. But the spec is here. The reason this hit this list is people are specking that the reason Armor Wars is a movie instead of a TV show is he's like, I'll do it, but only for a movie, that I'm not coming back for a TV show, which is funny because he gave his voice to the What If cartoon. So we'll see. But maybe if they're wanting more than a voice, if they're wanting like the projection like he is at the end of the end game, if they're wanting more than just the voice, maybe he's wanting to save that for a movie. We'll see. But that's where the spec is on this. But there's also spec related to Black Panther and just Riri showing up. $25.90, but I still put this as an I'll be back. I think I would wait on this one. Dig this cover. Yeah. Is this Cicadas? I don't know. I am not 100% sure. Malieve. Okay. There you go. But yeah, it is a cool cover. I do like this cover. But I still put this in I'll be back. Next, 2 books left. Black Panther trailer. Invincible Iron Man. We saw her in a suit of armor. First full appearance of Riri. Raw copies up to 115, 9.8, 4 to 600, which is still not quite where it was at when the initial rumors came out. The initial word about an Ironheart show and everything. So this book is still down from that. This one is going to be the rare case where I say where the movie's in a month, where I say worth it because we should be getting her show, unless they've changed the timeline, unless I'm incorrect. I think her show should be coming out next spring. So this is probably going to be worth it because, yeah, if the movie appearance is good and then her show is coming out, then this is going to be worth it. So, yeah, I don't know. Not much else to say. I think that one's for sure. Really, it has to do with timing for me. If it wasn't, like, if her show wasn't following up the movie in the next, around that same time period, then I would be a little more into I'll be back. But because it is, I think it's probably worth it, which is why I'll be back on this one, which is not the first appearance in the book, but first cover of Shuri as Black Panther. She doesn't appear as Black Panther until issue 5, which is the Storm cover. Gorgeous J. Scott Campbell on this, though. And, yeah, they all but confirmed it in the trailer. The markings on the head, unless that when you get into the movie, those markings aren't there and it was just a big haha, but the build, it's clearly a woman. Her build, and it seems to match her build. The markings match what she used when she was in battle before. it's Shuri. I think we all knew that was most likely going to be what happened. These are this run on Black Panther are some really great covers. I thought it was him. Was he the only one, or was he the only one that didn't do it? I thought he did. Okay, Bad Avenger may be right. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought they got him too. So maybe not. So that could be where that's where everybody's thinking Armor Wars. But again, that means we're just a long way away from him appearing as an AI, which makes that book even more of an I'll be back. This raw copy is 100, 9.8, 525. But this isn't I'll be back because we are getting it here in a month. And then 5 months from now, people will have moved on. So stoked for Wakanda Forever. I think he's doing the second season. We'll see what he comes out as. But I can see him saying, I'm not going to do a show. I'm going to do movies, which means he probably won't appear until Armor Wars. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, big fan of... I'm not surprised that we're getting Shuri. I figured that's where they were going to go all along. Now, that doesn't mean that she'll be the Black Panther going forward. But for this movie, at least, yeah, she's our Black Panther, and that does not surprise me in the least. All right, gang, that is it. I am going to get out of here. We got 15, 20 minutes till your football starts. I know there was a London game today or whatever, but it should be over by now. But yeah, so you can go watch football, hang out, do the rest of your Sunday. I'll be back tonight playing D&D. I think I didn't actually confirm with everybody, but I think we're playing D&D tonight. And we'll see you guys next time. Yes, Armor Wars got turned into a movie. We talked about that. All right, gang. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Later. Maybe. Where's my little outro? There it is. I had to find it.